So what a day it's been in the stock market today. Some incredible moves. We said on yesterday's video that this week is going to be a mental one for the stock market. I think I referenced it to being the Super Bowl week of the stock market, and that's exactly what it's been today. Wow, what a day. There's been a lot of moves in the market, and today we're going to talk about them. Obviously, today's video's title is PayPal, but we're also going to look at a couple of other stocks as well in today's video. And what a day it's been in the market for me personally. Whoa, there's been some absolute mega amounts of stocks making some really good moves and some really nice profit taken in. And I'm actually going to share some of them with you today. I don't normally do it. I normally reveal stocks I've been selling in the stocks I've been buying video for the end of the month. But today, you know what, I thought, I'm going to share these with you guys in real time about some moves that I did make today when selling some of these stocks. Normally, it's only on the Patreon that you get the live buy and sell alerts, and I guess this is nearly close to being a live buy and sell alert because it was on the day that I did make the move. So we'll have a little bit of a look into it. So first of all, let's start with PayPal because that is in the video title. And today, yes, a cracking day. The stock is up 8%, but I'm sure some of you guys that were seeing when the earnings came out from PayPal, the stock was actually up, I think, 17% at one point. So it's had a pretty decent pullback. Obviously, still a really good day, but at one point it was a very good day. 17%. I can't even remember the last time I saw PayPal up over 10%. So the fact at one point it was up 17% was incredible. I looked at the jump originally with, when PayPal went up, and I decided to trim my position. I did trim 5% on my PayPal position for an 18% gain when I saw the stock went up 17%. I was just a bit like, it's very rare you've seen PayPal make some of these moves. And I say quite often to you guys, when the jump, the earnings were actually, incredible, 10 out of 10 earnings, and we'll go through them in a minute. But sometimes when you just see such a big jump for such a stock that's beaten down for so long, I was like, there's going to be a lot of people that maybe use that 17-18% jump to maybe just lock in a bit of profit that have been underwater on the position for a while and go, that's a good time for me to get out. And I thought there's a good chance that PayPal gives away some of its gains today. And obviously that's been the case. So me thinking when the stock was up 17%, I decided to trim the position by 5% for an 18% gain, which was amazing because I've been in the stock now for the last kind of 2 or 3 months. I've very aggressively built a position up in this one. I think I've been saying to you guys, like, look, this is a position that I'm aggressively going to build into on the eToro portfolios. I was like, look, I need to get PayPal up this list very quickly because the valuation looks really good here. So I think even up to maybe last week, I was aggressively buying the position. So I was like, okay, you give me nearly 20% jump in a day, in one day, lock a bit of profit in there. You guys know me. When I buy a stock, I aim for 100% return over a 5-year period, so 20% a year. If you're giving me what I thought I was going to get in a year in one day, I think we're just got to take a little bit of a jump off, a little profit off the table off that jump. And now I can. If this is what I do quite often, is that if the rally continues from PayPal and PayPal pushes on to a 80, 90, 100, 120, 140, $160 stock, I've still got 95% of my position, so I'm happy as anything. But if this stock decides, you know what, that 17% jump then goes to a 10% jump, to a 5% jump, and then we see PayPal, which we've seen do many times before, falls back into the $68 range, well, the profit that I took off the table, I can go buy some more shares back at those levels, and I can buy even more because I've got more money from the profit that I made to go buy even more shares, even get a better average on it. So that's what the plan was around PayPal. But overall, like I said, I got 95% of my position still in there, so I do hope it continues to do very well. I'm sure it will because these earnings were fantastic. PayPal under the new CEO of Alex Chriss, there was a time frame where I was a little bit worried when I saw Alex Chriss come in. Was it 2 years ago now that he's been into the business? It doesn't even say here. I think it's about 2 years ago. And there was a time frame I was looking at PayPal. I was like, are we sure about the direction this is going in? It seems to be like, it's a little bit nervous around the turnaround here. But it seems like, especially in these last 2 quarters, Alex Chriss is really starting to get his hold on the company right now. And it looks like the numbers that are starting to come through are pretty incredible. Looking at PayPal's numbers, yeah, really good. Non-GAAP, really nice EPS beat. Big thing though, GAAP numbers. Let's look at gap numbers. Now, I said to you guys on Monday, so I did the market preview for the week ahead, mega week for the stock market, and we talked about PayPal on those, the numbers they're supposed to do this week. And you can see, I actually said on yesterday's video, I went, the analyst expectations right now is $1.20. I think that's the setup for PayPal to beat these numbers is very easy. So they should come in with a pretty decent beat. And that's exactly what we saw PayPal do. We actually saw them come in with gap EPS of $1.30. So yeah, really, really nice beat on the EPS. And like I said on Monday, I thought the numbers were there for them to beat quite easily. And that's what they've done, which is really good. Another really good thing here, revenue growth of 7%. So I said on Monday's video, like, obviously the expectation is that they're going to get up to 5%, but if they can start dragging up even faster growth now, that would be absolutely amazing. And that's what they've done. They're coming with revenue growth of 7%. That's very impressive because there's a big difference between PayPal growing at like 4% a year, maybe 5% a year. But if you start pushing on to like 7, 8% growth a year, your valuation that you're going to be trading at, your metric expansion is going to be totally more increased. So we talk about where PayPal 4 or 5% growth a year should get them probably towards 20 times earnings. But if you start coming at like 7 or 8%, you're growing faster than the market then. And if you're growing faster than the market, you open up the conversation where PayPal doesn't trade at 20 times earnings, but PayPal trades at 25 times earnings. And that little bit of expansion on the P ratio makes a big difference on your return. So that's even more incredible from PayPal as well. All the numbers were absolutely amazing. I'm going to go through more detail on the PayPal numbers on the Patreon for you guys. So for you guys that like the more nerdy video, you take investing more serious, I'll go through them in a little bit more detail and pick out all the best numbers and any numbers that are concerning as well for you guys on the Patreon. So this is just a quick scan of the numbers. But yeah, overall, really good numbers from them there. There's more really good numbers. I'll show them on the Patreon. Actually, you know what? I'll point one more numbers out on this video here though. The full year guide. So the PayPal have this really great trick right now of where the Q4 EPS guide. So basically, they guide in the like consensus range, but then they're also the hike up the full year guide, and that's what PayPal have got very good on in like managing the expectations, which is obviously really good. Other benefits as well from PayPal earnings, they did. I can't see this actually get that much more mention. Maybe it should have made a bit more of a scene of it. But PayPal also announced a dividend, which is great because previously PayPal have been like buying back shares like crazy, really aggressive, and it hasn't really seemed to get them much reward. They've gone, okay, right, what we're going to do now is we're going to pay a dividend. Now, that is probably quite an interesting move because what that opens up now is there's certain investors, no matter how good the company is, will only own the stock if they end up paying a dividend. So this opens now to like investors that love dividends, they'll get that from PayPal. So this is really now open to the base of like, previously PayPal was like a growth company. All the growth investors are out of PayPal now. And what PayPal's been attracting is value investors. And now the value investor base is set, but also quite a lot of value investors also like dividends. So this now, the setup for PayPal as a value and a dividend stock is really going to attract some of these investors in, which should be pretty good. But also, if you're getting a value stock and a dividend paying stock that is growing at like 7%, 8% a year, the shareholder base potentially for PayPal now is obviously, you know, really attractive to see. There was also something else important that I probably should announce on this video as well with PayPal. And what I've seen quite common with Alex Chris at the moment is he seems to be tying up a lot of great partnerships. So he also has tied a partnership now with OpenAI, and that's to become the first payment wallet in ChatGPT. What that could mean potentially from a revenue point of view, I have no idea. But obviously people looking and thinking this is going to be the next big thing. Could it be a major benefit for them? Potentially, especially if ChatGPT are actually going to launch the search engine the rumour is going to be. So, yeah, obviously it's certainly not a negative. It's just a wild card. I don't know how much that's going to generate in revenue and profit, but looks a good, interesting deal with something that could potentially be major further down the line. So, yeah, really happy with PayPal. I thought there were 10 out of 10 earnings, and I've only picked some of the headlines out of here, the best bits out of this earnings report. I'll go through a few more details on the nerdy videos on the Patreon, but really, really good from them. Next one, SoFi, staying in the payment space. SoFi as well. Stock was up like 5-6% when their earnings came out. The market decided to sell it off. It's now actually, funny enough, just gone back green, to be fair. But we know SoFi has this volatile earnings pattern when it brings numbers out. We've seen it multiple times where SoFi goes up when they bring the numbers out, and then they're absolutely awesome, and then the stock just completely sells it off. Any of you guys that have been a SoFi shareholder are probably used to this pattern, so nothing surprising there with the movements that are going on with SoFi at the moment. Looking at SoFi's numbers, yeah, 10 out of 10 again from SoFi. EPS, I thought the numbers were really tricky for them to beat this time round. Well, they proved me wrong. Absolute mega EPS numbers. Revenue growing at 36%. That's in crazy acceleration from where they were a year ago. EBITDA growing faster than revenue, which is always something you want to see. They also hiked up their full year guide, which, you can see here that they expect to deliver net revenue of 3.4 billion, which is 165 million higher than the prior guidance as well, which is annual growth of 36% versus the prior guidance of 30%. That's incredible. So that's SoFi saying that they're going to come in with they think they're going to have another incredible Q4, and they're about a month in, so it should probably end up that way. And SoFi, since they've been a public company, have been one of the best companies that I've seen, like, set expectations and then just continuously beat it. Really good. And when this jump happened on SoFi today, like, I did just trim about 2.5% of my position for a 330% gain, which is just incredible amounts of money. When you are making, we've been in SoFi for a while, and I remember SoFi when it was at the time frame where it just kind of stayed stagnant through like 2022, 2023, and you had to sit on this stock for a year and a half of it going sideways, and you were seeing these mega reports in. And then I don't know what happened in 2024, but the stock woke up, and that's what I say quite often is that, you got to stay at the financials. It was just a waiting game, and now, we've had that 300% bounce, and this year alone, I mean, what we up year to date, 100 and something percent year to date. So it's 116%. Internet was a bit slow to load up there, wasn't it? Yeah, it's really good from SoFi, and I did take a little profit off the table because I do think that the stock at 92 forward times earnings certainly isn't cheap, and it does need to bring out these numbers to keep up that 92 forward times earnings numbers. But while they're bringing these numbers out, and I do think SoFi has an incredible future as well, it looks very good for where SoFi is at. So yeah, we'll do another full breakdown of SoFi's numbers on the Patreon as well for you guys. Moving on to the next one, Airtel Africa. So we're not talking about Airtel Africa for a while. If you've new around here, UK stock, it's a UK listed stock, but obviously most of their money actually comes from Africa. And what they do is they have a payment, PayPal kind of product in Africa, and also they do a lot of telecoms, data provider as well in Africa as well. Being a really good performer this year, probably one of my best UK performers, up 129%. And stock I've owned for a while. I think I've started buying really originally in 2020. Stock went absolutely ballistic, and then the stock really from 2022 for the next kind of 2-3 years has gone sideways. Well, actually, probably slightly downwards. And I did start buying back into Airtel Africa, and then this year we've just been on a mega run. But same again, it just goes to a point of view where sometimes with some of these stocks, you just have to be a little bit patient. This stock went on a 2-3 year time frame where the share price did nothing. But if you look at the financials, yeah, they were getting hit by like an FX impact during that time frame. But you just had to look and think, at some point this FX impact is going to go. And when it goes, the numbers they're doing here, when they don't have to keep pricing in this FX impact, are going to be amazing. And you look at the valuation it's at, it's going to rip once you have that patience. Now, it was a tough time because the FX impact seemed to last forever, as you can see here. But as you can tell from this year, the FX impact has gone and the stock has absolutely ripped. And this is a key thing sometimes, with this 2 to 3 year time period, you just had to be patient. It can be a little bit tough to be patient in the stock market, especially in a year like 2024, which was very similar to 2025, where so many things are going up and you've had to sit there going, well, I'm holding this one and everything else is going up apart from this. Why do I bother holding it? And you've had to sit there. But very quickly, the market can very stupidly react and go, oh yeah, we've got this one massively wrong, let's re-rate it. And then you can have those jumps where the stock ends up going 153% in a year, when for the last 3 years it's basically sent the stock sideways, which is just incredible. So you just got to have patience in this game sometimes with some of these stocks. And you know what, Air Africa, that's the case, and now the rewards are coming in. You've got a company now growing at 25%. That's crazy. Operating profit up 35%, which is the better number to use because it takes out that FX impact a little bit. But profit before tax, now the FX impact has gone, went up 375%. Basic EPS was up at 908%. So, yeah, really, really good from Air Africa. So, really happy with that one as well. Yeah, I'll have a look at Air Africa, because the only thing that I've got to weigh up now with Air Africa is that at some point they're going to have that currency impact again. And do you think the market's going to learn from its previous mistakes of selling stocks off and having a little bit of patience when the FX impacts happen? Of course not. Next time another FX impact comes back down, they'll do the exact same thing where they send the stock down 35%, they trade the stock sideways for 2 years, and then they'll wake up and go, oh, we've got that one wrong again. So we'll have deja vu again sometime where the market kind of throws Airtel Africa out. But yeah, at the moment, I'm happy to see how that one's been performing, and the patience has paid off. Moving on to the last update for today, which is at VF Corp. It's a turnaround play I started buying a while ago. This was actually a really surprising one, because this has actually been on a really good rally recently. And when the earnings came out originally, the stock actually went up. And I was looking, thinking, like this, I'm up about 30% on my position here, and I've not built a full position. Do I just kind of cut and run here, or what shall I do? And as I was thinking about it, the stock went from being up to actually going down 10% at one point today. It's had a little bit of a bounce since, but still down 8%. And I was thinking, wow, like today it's been an interesting one, because PayPal brought out 10 out of 10 earnings. It's held up a little bit. SoFi brings out 10 out of 10 earnings. That went negative. Airtel Africa has held its gains after a good earnings report. And VF Corp came out with a really good earnings report, and the stock went down. And yet the numbers are good. Like, you're looking at VF Corp and you want to see, is the turnaround still happening? And the update once again confirmed the turnaround's happening, yet the market sold it off. My suspicion is maybe the guidance. Once again, when I go into the more gritty, the more nerdy videos on the Patreon for you guys, I will try and confirm to you guys the exact reason why I think the market might have sold it off. But from what I can scan here, and using Seeking Alpha, which, by the way, Seeking Alpha, this is, when it comes to US earnings season, it is one of the key platforms you've got to have if you're investing into US stocks, for like reading the earnings and then giving the data when they come out straight away, the quick snapshots. So useful. I've got a link in the description for a discount code as well. Honestly, it's a great platform. Before they even gave me the discount code, so then the affiliate link, I was already paying for Seeking Alpha. It's great. But anyway, yeah, looking at numbers, we're looking for the turnaround signs to continue. And by the way, how many people have you walked down the street at the moment and they're wearing North Face jackets again? It seems like they've had an even more surge in the products once again. So, yeah. Anyway, so looking at the numbers here, revenue of 2% on a constant currency basis was negative 1%, above the guidance of -4 to -2%, so that came in way better than what was expected as well. They said that the revenue reflects better than expected back to school results and early wholesale demand. North Face, once again, growth at 6%, which is good. Timberland at 7% growth as well, which is great. Vans still negative, but -9%, which is a great improvement as well compared to last year. Operating income came in at 313 million as well, which is above the guidance they gave of 260 million to 290 million, which is a great improvement as well. So really happy with that one. If we look at operating margins as well, operating margins had a nice increase, which is great to see. Less discounting going on. When we look at net debt, that's one key thing that we're looking for them to do, is to pay down that debt. They also decreased by 1.5 billion or 21%, which is great for them at the moment to have as well. And they gave some numbers on their guide going forward, which I'll have to compare if that's the reason why the market didn't like their earnings. But overall, you look at the numbers going up in the right direction, and that clearly seemed the case with VF Corp. But same again, I'll go through them in a little bit more detail on the Patreon and see if there's anything else that I can spot about what's going on there with the F Corp. So, but looks like the turnaround continues there with it at the moment. And that is the PayPal update and another free stocks for you guys. Hope you enjoyed it. Hope I see some new faces on Patreon when we do the more nerdy reviews. Don't forget, it's currently £6, guys. If you join through the link in the description, you get all the exclusive content on there with the Patreon. Don't forget, it is going up in January to reflect the results that we've had this year. And once again, you can see today another cracking day for us in the market. So the time to get in is now if you do want to join, guys, and see more of the nerdy videos if you want to take investing a little serious. Apart from that, hope you also had another cracking day out there, guys, and I'll see you on tomorrow's video.